Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to the alpha for Warhammer 40k, Dark Heresy. As today, we've met just about everyone else there is around Maris Mortem, so it's time to finally take things to the top. To meet with the so-called Baron, the self-proclaimed ruler of this sector. Though, obviously we'll canvass his lair on approach, try to find as much ammo as possible before we actually confront him. Given what we've heard, it does sound like he's one of the prime suspects in at least stealing the Faisalane. Though I do still think Ursimus is much more likely as far as the actual disappearing people go. What if someone saw? What if he finds out? He won't find out. We did everything quietly. Yeah? Then why are you shaking? Interesting. Keep moving. No reason to hang around here. So first thing we've run into is a pre-scripted event with two guards worried that he, quote-unquote, might find out something they did quietly. You need to keep walking. No outsiders in the warehouse. Baron's orders. Sure. But what about this? Oh, yeah, that's the other side of the shortcut we saw when we were walking over near the pump room, which is right here. Yeah, that's where the flock was dipping people in toxic goo. Which they went right back to doing after I broke up that first group. You guys gonna pitch a fit if I blow this up? Nope, we're good. And we now have another shortcut. Not entirely sure why we might need this one, but we've got it. Plus, the warehouse, inaccessible from here unless we want to fight. But we do also have this, which is clearly an alternate entrance. So yes, we definitely want to check that out. I don't feel good. The Baron really went for it this time. Gnarl's screaming is still ringing in my ears. I still can't believe Gnarl was making fake Gergesum. Now we'll have to stare at that idiot every day. How long is he going to be hanging above the entrance like that? Oh, yeah, yep, right there. Lovely. It's a warning from the Baron for the rest of us. He'll stay where he is until we get the message. Gergesum is like the Emperor's blood to the Baron. Sacred. Which does reinforce the idea that the Baron prefers gruesome public display. The silhouette of a cowering person is clearly visible on the scorched wall. The heavy tang of burned flesh hangs in the air. The limbless corpse sways on chains hanging from the ceiling. Black flies swarm over the rotting remains. It does have a bit of a tinge of chaos to it, doesn't it? But let's get a peek at the warehouse. Sir? Why'd I even agree to guard the warehouse? Wish I'd gone to the excavation. They say there are rich pickings there. The excavation, you say? Well, gosh, and here I was told the Baron's men don't go there. Yeah, I think it's safe to say they took the Faisalane. I don't think they took the people, though. I think they were just opportunists and took the supplies after the expedition crew had already gone missing. This wall looks weak. With enough force, it could be smashed through. Hey, you, come on! This is the Baron's warehouse. If you touch anything, you're dead meat. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can handle myself, but you know what? Inquisitorial business. You should probably take a walk. All right, bud. Let's chat. Oh, or I could, I suppose, just straight up kill you. I guess that is also an option. Yep, all right. Or perhaps not. Do I need someone with a melee weapon? No. Hey, there we go. Okay, that was weird, but as always, obligatory reminder that this is just an alpha. I'm sure they'll get that smoothed out. Sorry, bud. Yeah, slight lack of responsiveness on some of these action prompts. The identifying markings have been deliberately erased, but an Aquila-shaped mark on the massive lid is easy to spot. Also, what, did the scroungers break in again? Wait, are we on a timer? Alright, let's try to make this quick. I'm guessing this is our Feist lane? No, that is just plain old Rotgut. Though we do have a hidden contain... Oh, shoot. The warehouse is closed. No one allowed in without the Baron's say-so. Right, yeah, sorry. Don't know how I even got in there. Super weird. Sorry. Can I just... I mean, they didn't actually close it off, so... Alright, this time we will make it quick. We'll pop in, we'll grab everything that's not nailed down, we'll run back out and sort it after. Let's do these awareness checks real quick. Nothing. Okay, weird. Not entirely sure what that was supposed to be. Maybe an alarm? Oh, maybe we flubbed a check when we interacted with that secret container. Honestly, it looks like it's mostly just vendor trash. Oh, though that is definitely not. Run away! Alright, let's get a peek. I didn't see anything that looked like a quest item in there. Mostly just vendor trash and a couple of consumables. Plus a single syringe of Gergesum. And then, of course, the armor and helm. Which does seem to be our big prize. Avant-Garde Helmet. Ogryn-sized helm. Wearer suffers toughness bonus less vitals damage. And improved Aeldari Guardian armor. Aeldari gains defense and wounds. Melee attacks deal plus 2 times agility bonus vitals damage. Whenever wearer deals vitals damage, they regain 2 times agility bonus armor durability. I mean, I've got to say, that sounds halfway decent. Helm's not awful either, though vitals damage, I think that's just specifically when someone makes a called shot on, like, the head or torso. Oh, yeah, and then the Aeldari armor is just a straight upgrade. Very nice. Not what I was hoping to find, but we'll take it. Man, I notice we didn't even get a clue for finding that crate. Might be an oversight, but I guess I might have also just been wrong about who took the Feist lane. It might actually be the Ferals or Kroot. Or possibly even the flock, though. Though I feel like they're less likely. Though someone did point out that the flock we killed during the Dursus fight were wearing Fusilier gear. Again, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an intentional clue since it didn't update our journal. But it does kind of imply that they're not above looting military equipment. Why are you still here? It's your shift on patrol. I've been on patrol 3 turns already. I'm not going again. They can shoot me for all I care. Greybeard patrolled for 10 turns straight and he was fine. Now chug some Gergesum and get to work. You chug it. My teeth can't hear a thing, and my ears are falling out from that stuff. Oh, that's rough, buddy. Though, yeah, it also does kind of reinforce that they're using that Gergesum to essentially never sleep. Or at least sleep as minimally as possible to avoid the local night terrors. Which isn't sustainable. The word traitor is carved into the corpse's chest. More reinforcement that the Baron prefers public display. What is this Grok's piss? Pah! I'd sell it the Baron himself for a swig of rat shine. Oh, would you? Well, my new friend, that is very good to know. The ancient load-bearing wall was preserved when the tunnels were converted into a refuge. Oh, and there he is. The Baron himself. Oh, and look at that. Okay, you know what? I guess that explains why they might have an Ogryn-sized helmet in their warehouse. Though not the Aldari armor, unless he's got one of those around here somewhere too. A foul, sharp smell rises from the mug. Either the dregs have fermented, or someone relieved themselves in it. Well, I mean, Jugface did call it Grok's piss. Don't even think about it. I don't trade with outsiders. This whole place will be flooded soon. The sea gave such a lurch yesterday I fell in and nearly drowned. It wasn't the sea, that was you. You had too much to drink and passed out face first in your soup. Forgot already? So that's where this foul taste in my mouth came from? I hate that soup. Super. Hunger had stripped the prisoners of their humanity, leaving behind only withered husks. And again, the Baron's predilection for public display. Ooh. Bandit's Vox recording. And Rusty Key. Don't mind if I do. Bandit's Vox recording. Alright, Greybeard. It's me. I'm you. If you're hearing this, then the rot's got to our brains, and you've forgotten everything. Listen up. This is important. 2 of the turrets are fakes. One of them's got a bottle stashed in it. It's the best rat shine you can find in this bastard swamp. Better than the swill the Baron knocks back when he thinks no one's looking. Anyway, focus. The turret's open with a combi tool built into Horst's prosthetic. The key will help you detach it. Horst hasn't got long left. You'll find him in the infirmary. Just don't you lose your marbles before he does. From one turret, you take the rat shine, and don't you dare take a swig. It's for business. In the other, I'll leave the code for the cogitator in the production zone. I've got the digits, but not the order. Old Jugface knows it, though. Give him the rat shine. That'll loosen his tongue. He sold his own grandmother to the guardsman for a bottle of that stuff. The code changes every few turns. Don't drag your feet. Enter the code in the cogitator. A door will open. One of the shifts has a stash in there. Watch your step for tripwires. Got it? There's another bunch who think no one's looking. But in this hole, even the walls have eyes. I am those eyes. You got me? There'll definitely be injectors in the stash. Grab 'em and get out of there. We'll sell 'em, get ourselves to the mid-level sectors, and live easy. Good luck. Don't you dare mess this up. So, did that go well? Sir? Graybeard? Also, that's the same guy the two guards were talking about when we first came in. Graybeard was the guy they said did 10 guard shifts straight. Which, you know, I guess makes sense if he was also simultaneously casing out the joint for a heist. The entire den is built upon compressed rubbish. These tunnels could collapse at any moment, burying everyone inside. Which does sound pretty prophetic. The question being whether that's something that would only really come into play if we had come here second, or if it's something that might actually play into how we might ultimately deal with the Baron and his gang. Shh! Quit stomping about, outsider, before you bring the ceiling down. And again. I'm blind! I'm blind! Open your eyes, you idiot. I can see again. Blimey, have you got a right ugly mug, Sawbones? Cute. Old Horst, I presume? This does seem to be the infirmary. Yep, combi tool. Just the thing we need to crack open a fake turret or two. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, those are turrets. Okay, I didn't even register that. Yeah, I guess they are. Huh. That's a proper coat. Might be mine once the Baron's done with you. Yeah, it's nice to dream. Ah, I see. Okay, so this must be our combination lock. We'll leave that be for the moment. Heard the one about the company that vanished in the Silenza Sectoris? They say a bog monster ate them. One minute they were there, the next, gone. What kind of monster eats that much? A whole company? That's a lot of stew. Shut your gobs before I turn you into stew. Silenza Sectoris. Doesn't really narrow things down. Could be our Kroot, could be our potential Night Lord, could be Ursimus, he was there, or the serial killer. The pipes growl and gurgle like the guts of some wild beast. Oh, and an actual trap? Nice. Which nets us Boots of Masochism. Ogren-sized boots that grant +1 morale the first time the wearer is hit each round. I mean, Cog did have some issues with morale last time out, but I feel like he's still better off with the charge boots. Also, he had morale issues because we accidentally shot him twice. An unmarked crate is filled to the brim with canisters, their lids screwed on tightly. Now we gotta bow and scrape to outsiders too? You might be an upper hiver, but there's more of us. That is true. Though I also have to imagine that's why they keep telling us that this whole place is one bit of Feiseline away from complete collapse. Keep your hands to yourself. I'm watching you. Right, sorry, didn't realize that was off limits. You should really put up a sign or something. Also, I don't know how I didn't notice it earlier, but there are a ton of boxes with Aquilas on them all over the place here. Feels like our character really should have made note of that. Where'd you put the data slate, Abhuman? Everyone saw you take it. I was hammering nails with it. You were... what? Have you lost what brains you had? Gotcha. Next time, my hammer's with your head instead. Easy, easy. I was only joking. He seems fun. Take lever. I think we'll hold off on that. Seems like there's a fight every single day. The lads are all on edge because of these nightmares. I can't even remember the last time I had a proper night's sleep. Yep. Another nod towards this whole thing not being sustainable. You can't just not sleep. Trust me, I've tried. Rat hide parchment. An oily scrap of parchment shows the brittle lines of blood vessels. Combinations of 6-digit numbers have been scraped into its surface. Some are crossed out, others smudged with a knife's point. The final entry reads 254869. Next to it are question marks and a column of different combinations using the same digits. Okay, so that's our digits. Now we just need to find some rat shine to ply Jugface with. And you know what? Let's go do that before we settle in with the Baron. Again, we want to make sure we've got as much ammo as possible before we begin the interrogation, since this whole thing might go south. Hey, there we go. Rat shine. A bloated tunnel rat floats in the murky yellowish liquid, its crushed sides pressed against the glass of the bottle. Yum. Alright, well, let's go immediately get rid of this, because I really don't want to be carrying it. Jugface. Oh, okay, here you go. Now we're talking! Ratshine. You're actually alright, Upperhiver. Strong stuff. Listen, I'll tell you a secret. Scar's got a stash near the cogitator. Code locked. 6 digits. The first 3 start from the smallest and go up. And then the other 3 start from the biggest and go down. You find the numbers, we split the stash. Yeah? I mean, if that's what you wanted, you probably should have led with that instead of giving me the combination first. Smallest and up, biggest and down. Okay. Seems simple enough. Let's head back over to the cogitator, then we'll bust out the numbers. There it is. Alright, smallest to largest, biggest to smallest. So 245986. 245986. For a few moments, nothing happens, but the combination seems to flicker on the vid screen. 245986. Finally, the machine spirit kindly accepts your input, and the code is replaced by the words, "Access granted." And watch for tripwires. Okay, no, I think we're good. That nets us 750 cent. 7 vials of Gergesum, which, as far as I can tell, we can't actually do anything with. And a pretty well-locked container with a Katachin heavy stubber and a head slot item. Actually, just wanted to make sure we weren't missing anything. Okay, pretty decent haul. Let's get a gander at the new gear. Calibrated visor. +2 times ballistic skill percent to hit with heavy weapons. And Katachin heavy stubber. So yeah, I mean, both obviously intended for Hamar. Oh, and this one grants extra MP after hitting with it. That is fantastic for an otherwise largely immobile character. Also ignores a chunk of target's defense. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no reason for us to not immediately equip both items. That is a very solid upgrade. Increased damage, increased accuracy, and increased mobility with no net loss. Which I think means we're pretty much done exploring down here. Really just leaves the Baron. At least for the time being. Let's head up top. We'll chat with Maul. Then, depending on time, the Baron himself. The giant, bored-looking abhuman blocks your path. His clothes, stitched together from bandit rags, can barely contain his massive belly. As you approach, he gets the words out lazily. No goings up. Won't let you. Orders. The bandit next to the Ogren interrupts impatiently. Whoever's in charge can go upstairs. The rest of you will stay here. The Ogren promptly corrects himself. Only can goes up if you charge. No charge, no goes up. Go up, can't see behind you. I'm sorry. What? Who goes? Baron said watch, who goes? Okay. I must say, my very sizable friend, it's rare to see one Ogren in a place like this, let alone two. How exactly did someone like you end up in the Baron's employ? Are you Astra Militarum, like my friend Cog here? The Ogren's eyes bore into you. After an uncomfortably long pause, he says, morosely, I not like riddles. Right, of course. Well, here's an easy one for you. Why can't we all go up at once? The Ogren shrugs. A feral man gave Baron a big wound. You attacks, Baron loses. But Baron's smart. He said not let anybody goes up. The bandit's eyes widen in horror, and he quickly clears his throat to get your attention. The Baron will only speak to the leader. The rest of you don't deserve to meet with him. Sure, yeah, that sounds plausible. Cog, just out of curiosity, what else did the Baron tell you to do? The Ogren thinks for a moment, ignoring the bandit's warning grimaces. He said, not go to the swamp. There's feral peoples and angry mutants. I want to hit 'em hard, but I got orders. The bandit shakes his head so fiercely it looks like he might snap his own neck. There was no order like that. The Ogren turns to the bandit, his bushy eyebrows furrowing. There was. And they say Maul's stupid. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's a nod towards the Baron's deal with the local Kroot. To leave the townsfolk alone and focus on the ferals instead. He wouldn't want his pet Ogren going out there and spoiling the deal. You know, Maul, I feel your pain. I have to work with a lot of folks of questionable intellect myself. But you seem like you're pretty on the ball. I feel like you and me might be able to work pretty well together. You think we might be able to work something out? The Ogren pauses in thought. Try. Well, you said you wish that you got more chances to hit things, and I feel like I am in many situations where things need to be hit, so, you know, there's that. The Ogren looks at the stairs, then at you, then back at the stairs. Finally, he sighs. I don't want to watch. I want to hit somebody. Yeah, hit hard. Maul's not stupid. Tell me what to do. Ah, okay, I see. We get to send him to one of our patrons. Alright, listen up. Just outside town, there's an excavation site. Your guys have probably been there once or twice, so you should theoretically know the way. Look for a woman in black armor with a big goofy skull on her shoulder. Tell her Akko sent you. She'll know what to do. The giant's eyes seem to glaze over for a moment, but then he nods and turns towards the exit. And off he goes. So, we good? I mean, I guess I can't really blame you for not wanting to, intervene with a frustrated Ogren. Yeah, you're fine. Alright, I'm gonna go have words with your boss. Baron. And company. Let's chat. The man known as the Baron stares at you through a haze of low smoke. Rough, weather-beaten skin stretches over his bony face, which still hints at his former good looks, and a deep scar bisects one clouded eye. The smell of sweat and promethium rolls off his rangy body. The man smirks with a somewhat manic look, and takes a deep drag of his low stick before opening his mouth. Well, well, more upper hivers. You've been drawn to our God Emperor Forsaken Mirasportum lately. He breaks off into a deep, hacking cough. The barking cough, coarse speech, and off-putting appearance, he plays the part of a seedy lowlife very convincingly. But the Baron gives you an intent look that sweeps over you in a fast and brutal fashion. Though his gaze is clouded by some stimulant, whoever this man is, he is not like the rest of the rabble that inhabits this place. Interesting. Could just mean he's smarter than your average underhiver, but could also imply something more. An agent of another power, perhaps? You know where you are. The Baron waves his low stick as he gestures at the space around you. And you know who I am. The grimy fingers gripping the rolled tube come to rest in an affected pose on his chest. So why would genteel folks like ourselves waste time on how-do-you-dos? Why are you here, upper hiver? To crow about saving my diver's salty hides? I've been told you handled the ferals well enough. I'll give you that. And as a reward, I'm granting you an audience with yours truly. No need to thank me. And how'd you manage to get this slot in here with you? Is Maul staring at the wall again? Bloody abhuman. Yeah, something like that. Well, I just thought we were overdue for an introduction. I've been down here for a while. I've heard a lot about you. I'm Akko. Akko Light. And you, of course, are... the Baron? The Baron smirks. Should the attention of an upper hiver flatter me or scare me? I don't know what to do with myself. I'll just say that it's my business to dig up long-forgotten treasures that lie in the dirt beneath the feet of the Lords of the Spires. And that's how I serve the God Emperor. Any tools are good in the struggles against the enemies of humanity, long as they don't come from the hands of those very enemies. You know what? At its very basic core, I cannot disagree with that. That is an accurate assessment. So you run this place, huh? Or at least that's what I keep hearing. I'd love to know more about how that all works. I mean, normally, wouldn't that be someone who's appointed by the folks up top? The Baron clicks his tongue. Go out to the front and look down. You'll see everything you need to know. Mirasportum's caught between the upper levels that send rubbish and sewage pouring into this place, and the sea that will someday swallow the place whole. Even if that happens, the upper hivers will show up and tell us to grow gills, so that we can work at sewage plants underwater. The people are surviving. I'm helping them. Me and my Gergesum. Yeah, I've heard about that too, but can't seem to get much in the way of actual details. The Baron smirks. It's funny. Who would have thought that at the bottom of the stinking puddle that washes over Merisportum, there'd be shit more valuable than plasteel? Shit that only local divers can get their hands on. Shit that upper hivers will fight each other to get. Out of the mud and waste, I created Gergesum, a treasure for the nobles of the spires. And that's the only reason they haven't burned this place to the ground. And because I'm pure before the God Emperor, and I keep everyone around me pure too. Uh-huh. A peony, who's already picked up her data slate in readiness, disappointedly puts it back away. I cannot help but notice that you have ignored the semantics of the question posed, replacing the actual description of the substance with indirect, emotional comments. The Baron sucks on his glow stick and bestows a smile on the surgeon. Not good of you to notice, Upper Hiver. I'm sorry, you just said you provide this stuff for nobles up top? I'd love to hear some names. Would I be pure before him and myself if I denounced my friends, Upper Hiver? And would people follow a rat? The Baron pensively puffs out a ring of smoke. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think the God Emperor has a no-snitching policy, but sure. And, the local plague of night terrors, that Gergesum stuff, that's how your gang copes with it? Sure does. I created Gergesum, and that stuff don't just increase the strength and hardiness of my idiot underlings. It also stops them from sleeping. No sleep means no nightmares. No nightmares means everyone's just fine. Everyone in Merisportum is trying to get their hands on a few drops of my treasure. You know? Which is why all the local bandits follow your lead. No, that's not right. Mine are the quiet ones and the colors with aluminum tattoos. They keep order and keep the rowdy ones in check. But there are enough freaks in Merisportum who have taken up arms and decided that they don't answer to me or even him. Gangs of them, calling themselves ferals. When my people see them, they take them out. I advise you to do the same. No one will miss them. Right. And how about this whole flock of repentance? They seem pretty dug in at this point. That Ursimus guy seems the closest thing that you've got down here to a proper rival. The Baron's expression changes. Ursimus and his lunatics. We're drowning, and they're only adding to our problems. The Upper Hivers wrote us off the moment the first seaquake put everything underwater. But I saw an opportunity, and the locals keep working for the good of him and Merisportum, so that we don't all die. But to work, you have to have at least some strength. You're allocated 4 hours of sleep, and corpse starch gruel. But these holy men are wandering around Merisportum and shouting that we need to mutilate our flesh, beat ourselves to bloody lumps, and stop eating altogether. How is that any way to serve the God Emperor? You know what? Again, I can't really say I disagree with that assessment. That is pretty accurate. And how exactly do the divers fit into all this? Calby and her lot? Sloggers who work themselves to the bone for his glory. Nice lads, only they prefer to keep to themselves. The dregs of Merisportum don't tend to look kindly on anyone who's different. Reference to their aquatic mutations, I'd wager. Alright, thanks. I had some other questions, if you don't mind. Oh? What do you want to talk about now? Well, considering that you're the self-proclaimed ruler of this place and all, I'm assuming that you're familiar with the excavation site just outside of town? And with what happened there? Excavation? The one those other Upper Hiver pals of yours are messing around with? The Baron grins. I don't know what's going on over there, and I don't want to. Anyone sniffing about within 100 meters gets shot for their troubles. Whatever they're up to, it can't be anything good. You think I'm stupid enough to stick my nose in and send my people there? We don't have enough hands as it is to keep things ticking over here, so leave off with your assuming. I mean, at least some of your guys have been there, but sure. But thinking about it, the Baron lunges forward sharply. If something did happen, then you're looking in the wrong place. Ursimus and his lunatics from the flock are bad news, Upperhiver. They've caused all the problems they can in Merisportum, and they've decided to try their teachings on Upperhivers instead. Obvious attempt to shift blame, but also not entirely inaccurate. Again, we did find the foreman's log, indicating that at least some of the excavation members had converted. It seems more likely the Baron and the flock clashed, and he's now trying to fob all the blame off on them. Which isn't a bad move. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, that might be the case. I'll certainly look into it. Though there is another local I was told to talk to. Some guy named Rufinus Skag? Don't suppose you're familiar with him. The Baron raises his eyebrows. In Merisportum, anything that ain't nailed down goes missing as soon as you turn your back. That includes people. Like this, Rufinus of yours. Never heard of him, by the way. Well, yeah, you might not have heard his name, but maybe you've seen this face? Nah, never seen him before, Upperhiver. I'd remember that burned face if I had. Well, he might have been wearing a cowl or a scarf or something. He also has an augmetic leg, left leg, from the knee down. Ring any bells? You really think I keep a record of every down and out who's missing a lit? The Baron's pupils constrict for a second, as though he's just remembered something. Well, I don't, all right? Uh-huh. You know what? The thought does occur that the two main identifying features, the burned face and prosthetic leg, would have been removed if he were the victim of one of the Baron's public executions. But we didn't mention the tattoos, so it might be worth our time to go around checking all the bodies we previously passed to see if any are now sporting conspicuous tattoos. Guess I'll just have to take your word on that. But I do suspect we'll be talking about this again. The Baron smirks, exhaling smoke through his nostrils. Whatever you say, Upperhiver. Yeah, he knows. He knows. So how about these bog beasts out in the swamps? Maybe they got him? Is that so? The Baron takes a deep drag before continuing. You know what else people say? That bad Obscura takes you on an unforgettable ride. I knew someone who swore up and down that he'd met Saint Sibelius on the street and shook his hand. Even had the sacred marks burned all over his palm. He spits out a puff of smoke. But what I say is, when you're out of it and puking up your guts in an alley, don't go leaning on any thermal pipes. Well, alright, that's a more blatant lie. Not quite a lie, he just more kind of like non-sequitured. I've got to say, Baron, you seem a bit under the weather there. Too much low, perhaps? You know, Upperhiver, I'm almost flattered that you're concerned about my health. The Baron smirks and pulls a small injector from his pocket. Once the black sludge is in his body, he visibly relaxes. One of the ferals came up with the idea of taking me out with a piece of sharpened pipe. Now he's up there, hanging from my ceiling. As a decoration. Uncontrolled consumption of stimulant substances ultimately will have an adverse effect on your health. I would advise you to see the local surgeon as soon as possible and arrange disinfection and appropriate suturing of the wound. And I would advise you, Upper Hiver, to go out into the sea and try to tell the fish how to swim. You know what? Maybe we'll do just that. Sit tight. We'll be back in a bit to let you know how it went. I will say, I was kind of half expecting this guy to be Rufinus Skag in disguise, like seizing an opportunity. But no, they don't really seem to be leaning that way. Though he does seem to know about Rufinus, at least in passing. He's just reluctant to let any details slip. In fact, that was how it was the whole conversation. Note that we did not get a single actual clue out of that. He non-sequitured or danced around pretty much everything we asked. Which is interesting. I mean, he clearly knows more than he's letting on. I mean, he must. Also, surprising we couldn't bring up the crates, the copious crates that we found all over the place. But I'm sure he would have just deferred on that as well. Take lever. Why would we want to take that? Alright, so obviously we need some more solid evidence. Something we can rattle his cage with and hopefully shake something loose. Best bet seems to be finding a body with conspicuous tattoos, which isn't Horst, even though he did have a prosthetic leg. But we'll also check the cages. We'll check the 2 hanging bodies. Would have been nice if we could find his records, or the heads he supposedly collects. But you know what? That might actually be behind the other door, the one that the guard yelled at us when we tried to open. Yeah, we're not having much luck here. Though we do still have the body out front. Nothing. Shoot, that really felt like a safe bet, but... Alright, guess we'll have to look elsewhere. I mean, if nothing else, we've still got the swamp. That said, let's hit the pause button here. I am going to canvass the lower town. See if anything new pops up down there. Maybe check those bodies on the dock again. But also, that'll give me a chance to swing by Septima's place again, do a little trading, maybe grab something nice. And we will pick up here next time, as we take to the swamp and get bogged down by the details. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to RobbyB23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.